Welcome back to The Right Direction. Today, we will discuss 5 unexpected symptoms of grief. I think that we have all experienced grief in some way and experienced what we would think of as the normal symptoms: sadness, crying, anger sometimes, numbness, depending on our loved one's condition, if it was a prolonged illness, sometimes even relief. But then there are symptoms that people often have presented me with, and they wonder, am I going crazy? I didn't know that this was part of grief. And so I just wanted to touch on a few of them, 5 of them that I think are most common that we don't always associate with the grieving process. The first one is forgetfulness. Yes, forgetfulness. I've had many clients ask, do I need to get evaluated? Am I having early signs of dementia? What is going on with me? Because ever since my loved one died, I can't remember anything. I have to write notes and then write notes to remind myself about the notes that I've written. Or I can't find my keys and they're right there. Or I can't remember why I entered into this room and what I'm supposed to be getting while I'm here. And so I often encourage my clients that yes, forgetfulness is a sign of grief. Now, of course, I would always encourage everyone really, after a significant loss, to go get evaluated from your doctor. Because especially if you're in a caregiver role, you probably were not taking excellent care of yourself because you're focused on caring for your loved one. And so it's important just to get checked out, make sure everything is okay medically, but to also understand that forgetting things, forgetting important appointments or engagements or events, is a sign of grief. The second one that I want to cover is brain fog. It's a little different than forgetting things. It's more so that lack of concentration. Any woman that has gone through that first trimester of pregnancy, you probably have experienced this, where you just can't seem to concentrate. There's just feels like you're just pushing through to just do normal activities. And so that is another symptom of grief. It's just the inability to concentrate on things that normally would come easy. And so clients tend to become frustrated with themselves. It's like, oh, I was able to do, this just a few months ago. Now it's hard, it's difficult, it's taxing. And so what I try to remind my clients is that you have just experienced a major life event. Give yourself grace. I've often heard grief described in many different analogies, but the one that I think speaks more realistically to the grieving experience is that of an amputee. Both of my grandparents actually experienced loss of limbs prior to their deaths. And so what happens when someone loses their limb as a result of an accident or needs to be amputated due to a disease is that limb that they were born with is no longer there. And you can give that person a prosthetic and they can still function. They can still walk or do things with their arm that they would ordinarily do with their natural limb with the prosthetic. But at the end of the day, it is not the same limb that they were born with. Much like a loss. A loss is permanent. We will no longer see our loved ones on this side of the world. And so we can try to fill in that loss with other things. We can try to distract ourselves, but at the end of the day, that loss is there and it is a life-changing, life-altering event. And so it would make sense that there would be a lack of concentration, a brain fog, if you would, when it comes to those tasks that we would ordinarily be able to do, because our lives have just been altered as the result of a major event. The third symptom that I would like to discuss is digestive issues, stomach aches, even headaches that tend to occur during the grieving process. I've had many clients who have lost their appetite or only want to eat comfort food or junk food. Their appetite shifts as a result of the loss. The fourth that I would like to cover is fatigue. There are many clients who have come and said, "Oh, I'm just so tired all the time. I'm just sleeping. I just can't seem to get the energy to do those things that I need to do." Now, of course, if you feel like you're in a place where you can't function and it's falling into depression, I urge you to speak with your doctor or mental health provider. But also understand that being tired, having that fatigue, is normal. Your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions have just undergone a very large event. And oftentimes, if you were very close with your loved one, you were probably the one that had to plan the funeral and make arrangements and call family members and call doctor's offices and the funeral home and all of these things, which are very exhausting. The what we call the business of death that has to be done immediately. And then if you were the caregiver for your loved one, then just add that even to what could cause that fatigue. If you were caring for your loved one, either while they were in a facility or in your home or in their home, that can create that fatigue as well. Because often when we're caregiving, we're operating off of adrenaline and just the need that's presented before us. We don't understand how tired we are until we're no longer operating in that caregiver role. And then the last unexpected symptom that I want to cover is that of impatience or irritability towards others. You know, it's very easy to feel this way, especially if the other people in your life have not don't really understand what you're going through or don't really understand what you're experiencing. And so that's why it's important to make sure you have someone in your life where you can process those feelings, those raw emotions. And if you don't, I would encourage you to journal, write them out, get those thoughts and emotions out of your head and your heart and onto a sheet of paper or onto the ears of someone who is objective and can listen and hear and help you process. I hope this has been helpful, these 5 unexpected symptoms of grieving. Thank you.